participants for today's program. It's my pleasure to welcome all participants to today's safety webinar conducted by HSE Forum of National Safety Council Kerala chapter. Today's topic is behavior-based safety. I'm sure everyone present here are aware of what is BBS. In fact, HSE Forum has already conducted 2 programs on behavior-based safety, covering the fundamentals, evolution, and methodology of implementing behavior-based safety. The talks were conducted by experts and consultants on the subject. Today, our topic is on practical aspects of behavior-based safety implementation. The speaker of the day is Mr. Roy Thomas, who is head of EHS, St. Gobain Private Limited, SCPR Palakkad. Mr. Roy Thomas holds MSc in Chemistry from Madras Christian College and Diploma in Industrial Safety from RLI, Chennai. He was second rank holder while in the Diploma of Industrial Safety, 33rd batch of RLI, Chennai. He has over 18 years of experience, 4 years in Asian Paints, close to 3 years in Grindwell Norton Tirupati, 7 years in St. Gobain Glass Businesses Sri Perambadur, and for the last 4 years, he is the head of EHS in St. Gobain Private Limited, SCPR, Palakkad. Mr. Roy has got many awards and accolades as a safety specialist. He has instrumental in driving Asian Paints core team to achieve the British Safety Council Award 5-star rating and Sword of Honor winner. When the St. Gobain SIC business label for health and safety for accomplishing the Roadmap 3 in Grindwell Norton Limited, Tirupati. And he has also got a lot of awards, which includes WCM Bronze Award, Journey of Chennai Plant Championing Health, Safety and Industrial Risk Prevention Pillars. It's a green belt for Lean Six Sigma, green belt for H&S Pillar and Environmental Industrial Risk Prevention, St. Gobain. So we have a distinguished faculty who is well proven in the field of safety, and under him, the Palakkad unit has continuously won Safety Award, Industrial Safety Award from 2018 to 2021 for 4 consecutive years. So we have distinguished faculty today speaking on the practical aspects of implementing behavior-based safety in his factory, and would be nice for all of us to hear from him how they have gone about with the implementation, challenges faced, roadblocks felt, and how they have going ahead with the successful implemented PPS. So before I formally invite Mr. Roy Thomas, I request Mr. Nitish Devaraj, Senior Inspector of Factories and Boilers present here, to have a few words, and then over to Mr. Roy. Over to you, sir, Nitish, sir.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
ഇന്ന് വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഒരു ഡിസ്കഷനാണ് നമ്മൾ നടത്താൻ പോകുന്നത്, ബിഹേവിയർ ബേസ്ഡ് സേഫ്റ്റി. കാരണം ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ പലപ്പോഴും ആക്സിഡന്റ് ഉണ്ടാകുന്നതിന് മെയിൻ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാരണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ബിഹേവിയർ ബേസ്ഡ് സേഫ്റ്റിയിലുള്ള ഒരു അവയർനെസ്. അതിപ്പോൾ നമ്മളുടെ ഒരു എമർജിങ് ഒരു ടെക്നിക്കാണ്. ഇവൻ ദോ പണ്ട് മുതലേ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും നമ്മളുടെ വർക്ക് പ്ലേസിൽ അധികം അത് ഇതുവരെ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അധികം ആക്സിഡൻസും ഉണ്ടാകുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ സെഷൻ എല്ലാവർക്കും വളരെ അധികം പ്രയോജനപ്പെടുന്ന ഒരു സെഷൻ ആവട്ടെ എന്ന് ആശംസിക്കുന്നു. താങ്ക് യു.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Mr. Roy.
Thank you. Hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, visible.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you, sir, for the introduction as well as this opportunity. So I will take you through the behavioral based safety practices, what we are doing it in our St. Gobain business in Palakkad as well as in Perundurai. I will talk a little bit about organization, then our operations, what are the risks involved, and people involvement, what is our framework. And SMART is our behavioral based safety audit process. Along with that, I will also discuss our key KPS, that is key points for safety, EHS marshals, and then our digital initiatives. Last, we will have a discussion on the results as well as question and answers time. Saint-Gobain, the organization where do I belong, is a leading global group, French multinational company, where we have operations in around 70 countries. It's a 350 and more old organization. And we have done sales of 44.2 billion in the year 2021. Coming to our refractory business or SCPR business, we have located locations in Palakkad as well as Perundurai. Palakkad is the mother plant. Saint-Gobain acquired this plant in 2002 from Kumi, and then over a period of time, we have enhanced the production capacity. We have expanded in Palakkad location. We have started a new business in Palakkad, Sintered, and that is in 2011. And 2015, we have started a greenfield project in Perundurai, and we started full production in 2017, and then we are targeting a 1,000 crore business by 2023. These are our products. We serve markets, refractory blocks for furnaces used in container glass, glass wool, then flat glass, then LCDs, PDP displays, that kind of specialty glass making, reinforcement fiberglass, and other specialty glasses. Now coming to risk of or a synopsis of our operations, basically we handle refractory blocks, which are really heavy. It will vary from 8 kg to 2 tons. We do a lot of manual handling with this block. So different methods have been used. We use tongs, we use chains, then we use other lifting tools and tackles. Then another important aspect is our machineries. So we have surface grinders, we have mixers, we have batching machine. These are the different kinds of machines. And we also have circular saws, cutting machines. And then we use around more than 25 forklifts in Palakkad and around 15 in Perundurai. So it's a man-machine interface is riskier operations what we have. Now coming to the pace, we have been constantly growing, and both our plants are booked, and basically ours is project-based business. So we have to complete project and then start another project. So change is constantly happening in our operations. We have a larger workforce. In Palakkad, we have around 900 people, more than 900 people. In Perundurai, we have around another 600 people. So 1,500, 1,600 people vary in our sites. We have some 25% of the people are trainees, and a lot of non-standard jobs due to our products are sometimes custom made. So that kind of dynamism is there in the business, and the people are exposed. We have, like any refractory industry, we have exposure to dust, noise, and difficult manual operations. Now, I try to talk about, when it comes to behavioral-based safety, it comes under definitely the people involvement. And if you really look at the safety indicators trend, 2016, I have given this graph of 2016. We have lost time accidents around 13 and non-lost time accidents around 19 reported in 2016. So it was a very difficult situation at that point of time, where probably our enhanced activities in the area of health and safety started. And we tried to build upon brick by brick how we can augment and how we can traverse in the journey of excellence. So now coming to our program of behavioral based safety, as I told, under people involvement. So we have our program named as We Care. So we respect the rules, we are exemplary, and we are proactive, and we share. So this is a globally brought on program. So in this, this is a vehicle. This program is a vehicle to achieve zero objectives. That is zero safety related, incidents and zero work related illnesses and no any environmental events. So VCare is a vehicle which is used for this achieving the objectives. And under these four bigger pillars, we have in the we respect the rules, we have the legal tracking system, then safety standards. Some of the technical standards, safety label, that is for our furnaces and our finishing system. Our business specific safety standards are there, what we call it a safety label or labeling system is there. On the part of we are exemplar, we have our golden safety rules, then Gamba walk by the management team, and then thank you card and violations are on, because in safety, both work hand in hand, the positive reinforcement as well as negative reinforcement. On proactive side, we have EHS marshals and their white belt certifications, then key points for safety. SMART is our behavioral based safety management and audit tool and our digital projects. Then on sharing, we have strong pep talk circles where in which we clearly communicate to the people on what is the do's and don'ts and updates, incident prevention programs and all those things. And we do share our best practices with other industries, neighboring industries, and we also try to learn from others. So under this big umbrella, the behavioral based safety part is coming under our safety management audit tool, SMART, and and it has got an evolution. So I will start with SMART, try to explain what is our practice and what are all the challenges what we face, and how we have tried to improvise, and how we have tried to enable our people to be part of this program. So this is the safety management audit tool, maybe a Christian version of behavioral based safety, what we use in Saint-Gobain. I will try to explain what is this process. It is like any other behavioral based safety process, what we practiced normally in other industries also. First of all, behaviors are looked at, and then discussions and participative and for analysis for behaviors. Then positive behaviors are reinforced, as well as changes in the behavioral part are agreed between the participants, the auditee as well as the auditor. And most of the actions are solved immediately. So it is not like in SMART, we have a host of actions which need to be solved in a month after or after 6 months. It's not like that. Most of the actions what we are trying to identify need to be solved in the field by discussion, counseling, and small changes. So basically, okay, like any other programs, it will prevent injury and reinforce positive behavior. Raise awareness and improve performance as well as motivate the employees, morale of the employees, it will get boosted up. So this is the SMART trend. I can say that maybe in 2021, 8,000, maybe somewhere around 8,000 to 10,000 SMART audits we do in our both the plants, both the locations put together. Now, slightly going into the details. Now, having done this SMART, what is that you receive? You will have some host of observations. So, okay, if I say that the observations are to be corrected and the counseled, and then it is to be done in the field, but at the end, we need to do a kind of analysis. So what we try to do is that we try to identify. I've taken the data for a year in Perundure and try to drill down. How do we do the analysis? So we have positive points. How many are the positive points, and then how many unsafe acts, and then how many unsafe conditions are there, and we try to arrive at some ratio. If you really look at this particular graph, the SMART ratio, that is positive points or positive acts upon the unsafe act and unsafe condition, it is somewhere, it is at 2.41. So if you really take this as a trend, probably when we started in 2016, 17 and all, maybe our ratio was very less. And then over a period of time, the positive points, what the people are observing, it will be on a rise, and unsafe act and unsafe condition, what people are observing, it has to get reduced. So that is the way this ratio has to progress. Then we will do a kind of the unsafe act and unsafe conditions, which are all the workstations where you are getting it. So most of the unsafe acts and unsafe conditions where you are getting, and that area we will try to focus. And also the category wise, basically where we are getting the unsafe acts and unsafe conditions, how we are, what are the different categories, whether it is on PP, whether it is on related to hand tools, whether it is related to work instructions or SOP deviations, whether it is immediate reactions, whether it is posture, position of employee, 5S related. So all those things we do an analysis. But what happens, it gives an impact, it gives a management commitment. But many times what happens when I say that it is because of PP is one of the most unsafe act, PP related issues are coming out in my SMAT analysis, but not all my accidents are basically because of some deviations with PP. There are non-routine jobs are coming in. There are maybe block handling related, some deviations are causing that accident. So there is a deviation, or there is a not there is no sync between probably at some point of time with what is your analysis and what is the real accidents what you are getting. So then when we look back, the challenge what we have faced, any behavioral based audit for that matter, people will really very quickly identify PP related issues. That guy is not wearing the goggles properly, he is not wearing helmet properly, gloves are not properly worn, something like that. But okay, of course, those issues are to be discussed, to be identified, to be observed and corrected. But are we missing something? Are we missing some key other behavioral observations? What you need to do? So, like any other audits, any other behavioral based safety audit practices, this has been scheduled, and we identify which area you need to go as a SMAT trained auditors, and then who are all the people you need to identify. So we do like that, but still you can see this disparity or else a kind of mismatch in between what is the kind of accidents what you're happening and what is the trend in your SMAT or behavioral based safety audit analysis, what is that it is throwing out. So you need to do some, probe, or you need to make some actions at that particular point. What we have identified is that how we can handle more with this SMAT auditors or trained auditors. So we have tried to develop a program to support the SMAT auditors. So where a senior SMAT auditor who will be doing a kind of an observation when another SMAT auditor is doing a SMAT audit. So then at that point of time, you try to observe, and then we have certain rules for doing the SMAT. You have to necessarily observe around 15 minutes, and then you have to start your interaction. In your interaction, you need to talk about the positive points what you observe, and then you need to reinforce the points. And when you identify any unsafe actor, unsafe condition, or unsafe act specifically, you need to start speaking about the consequences and not to do a kind of fault finding. But to our surprise, we identify that many times what happens, people will immediately start jump into some conclusions, and then they'll start doing some fault finding exercise. So that we could able to correct by doing this ProSMAT. And another thing what we had is that many of our SMAT audits, if you really look at the reports, it used to end with 1 or 2 points in PP and another 1 point what he has identified in some one unsafe act or one positive act. So in this case, what we have tried in order to leverage a breadth of the observations, we tried something called as COSMAT. That means two people doing together this particular audit. So what happens is there is good amount of dynamism, discussions, and if one person is missing to notice something, the other person will try to do that. And one person from outside, cross-functional. That means I have a finishing area. I will put one employee, one auditor from the finishing and another auditor from furnace. So from two different functions, people will come. One person who has got his base function as that function itself. So he will have good amount of idea about what the process, what is happening, and other person will come up with a external eye. So this has helped to really improve the number of points and number of quality observations in unsafe act category. So this has helped. So these are two kind of experiments what we have done it based on the pain what we had or the challenge what we had when we understood that the SMART audits and analysis is not representing the or not reflecting the real problem what we have. So then try to move on. Now the next challenge what I faced is we have some good amount of observations and like that, but you need to teach the employees, teach the auditors, smart auditors, what you need to observe. It is better you can give a syllabus, so you can teach them, these are all the positive acts you necessarily need to observe in this particular area. These are all the things can go wrong in this particular area. So if you give this kind of inputs to the auditors, so the quality of observations, you will not miss anything, and then it becomes a complete SMART. So we try to call it as technical SMARTs. So in order to do a technical SMART, we developed something called as key points for safety. So my next point is that how we have progressed from mere SMARTs to technical SMARTs, and how we try to utilize the syllabus for the SMART, that is the key points for safety. So it's about, KPS, key points for safety, and then no accidents. So in order to check for how to build or how to develop the key points for safety, from our accident analysis, now you go back to your accident analysis and try and identify which are all the area you have more number of accidents due to behavioral, unsafe behavior and all. So, in my case, I have many areas like, block handling and then maintenance, using of hand tools. So these are the areas where most of my accidents are happening. So I try to define what you need to look at, especially on behavior at these domains, these areas. So we try to develop something called as key points for safety. The left side photo is the left side document is something called as for a block handling safety at the VRSG machines. We tried to develop 10 points. These 10 points are developed by discussing with the operators, brainstorming with them, and asking them what you should not do, so that, or what you should do correctly. Exactly what I'm trying to say is that what you should do right first time or else correctly, so that accident do not happen. So they will come up with some 50, 60 points, something like that. But we cannot talk about all those 60 points because your memory frame is very short. You cannot remember more than, if it is in between 7 to 10, it is easy to remember. And when you remember and then you follow the 7 to 10 points, your 90-95% of the issue is solved. So in that way, we try to capture 10 points, all assertive in nature, because we will not speak about don'ts. We will speak about only do's, and not specifically with PP. PP is something which is basic, so which we have already given at the left side, and try to convert these 10 points into pictorial format, so that people very easy for them to understand. And you write only assertive statements saying that, these are the do's to be done so that accident not happen in this particular area. We train the people, and then after training, we communicate. This can become a perfect form of communication in pep talk. In all our pep talk circles, it is fitted with visuals, LCD, LED screens, and we can display this and then communicate effectively to the people. And after that, we have put a schedule to do an audit. So this audit not done by EHS department or functional heads or management, junior management, middle management, senior management, something like that. It is a kind of a peer-to-peer doing of verifying these key points for safety are followed or not. So when we try and do this particular thing, we could able to identify that post this technical smart audit, those points which people are not complying. Yeah, some disturbance. Can I continue?
I think so. I'm not sure. Please mute your mics, participants.
Okay,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. Yeah. So what I have identified that people they can easily identify these points, and then for those points which there is a non-compliance or a deviation is there, they can get into the discussion then and there itself. It doesn't, in order to solve that issue, you don't require a investment over there. You don't require a maintenance team to fix something. It is purely behavior. You have to talk about the consequences and then correct and get into a kind of an agreement that the operator understands this particular point, consequences, and he agrees to do it or follow it in the future in the right perspective. So in this way, we try to move ahead. So one challenge again, what I felt here is that how to enable the shop floor employees to do this particular key points for safety audit, because you need to have an edge on your understanding about some of the safety requirements and eye for safety. And because I don't think behavioral based safety, any form of behavioral based safety, you identify a set of auditors who are sitting in the offices, or who are senior managers or junior managers, functional heads and all. That divide will be always there. You cannot reach to the people. If and even if you schedule, you spread across night shift, you spread across 365 days in the thing only. Unsafe act happens task by task. When you send a behavioral based safety auditor, at that point of time, unsafe act is not happening, you will not be able to identify that particular thing. So the best person to identify an unsafe act done by another employee is his co-worker. Peer-to-peer SMAT, or is peer-to-peer this key points for safety only going to help, and that will be the most effective thing. That's what my learning or our team's learning. So now I need to bring the employees whom I am selecting to do this peer-to-peer SMAT or technical SMAT or key points for safety to the next level. So for that, I tried to do something called as enabling the people. This is what we tried as it as EHS Marshall initiative. So EHS marshals are people who are working in the shop floor only based on their interest and then proactive nature and all. We handpick some people and then try to train them. See, you can, while training them, you can tell them the objectives of this particular program and all those things. Fine. But what we try to do them is that, try to certify them, try to give them some label, some certifications. For that, we try to make a framework. So we had a classroom session, we had a practice session. So in the practice session, what we tried to do is that we tried to make them understand what is the risk assessment and how red risk is nothing but our form of significant risk, the severity, probability, rating, and all those things. We try to make them understand and try to handpick some of the red risk in their area and manually write it in the paper, do the severity and probability analysis, and then come up with which one is red risk and which need to be attacked. And they were made to do a kind of Kaizen. That means, there will be a small improvement. This will be a 1 week project, and they were allowed to do this Kaizen. They will paste the before and after, and then they will fill this, what is the risk they have identified, what is the do's and don'ts or 1 point lesson, OPL, what they need to do. So in that way, we tried to coach them, and then we conducted shop floor evaluation of all these projects with some our expertise in our group companies and all the top projects we tried to handpick and evaluate. There was a scoring criteria and all those things we have developed, and we could able to certify in Perundurai around 30 EHS marshals in 2018, and 2019 in Palakkad around 40 EHS marshals. This was not 1 point certification. We tried to certify, keep on certifying people in every year, And there were some people, we tried to rotate the people so that, more and more people coming into the field as EHS marshals. So we basically depend upon EHS marshals to do this peer-to-peer SMAT based on, key points for safety and then technical SMATs. So this initiative was also quite handy in percolating this, the essence of behavioral based safety system, the importance of behavioral based safety system, and how to identify, how to observe effectively at the shop floor, and then come to online corrections, and then how we can make the system streamlined. So this is my experiment of doing my way of doing things in the company, because when we got it from the corporate, it is the behavioral based safety SMAT. But any company for that matter, if you follow exactly what it is been prescribed or something like that, and you will have some system, but it will be in silos. Your behavioral based safety audits will be in silo, and you will keep on increasing your behavioral based safety audits, but you will not see a great sustained reduction in accidents. There can be issues. So you need to calibrate the system at some point of time based on the site requirements. So this is what we have identified and practiced in our refractory business. And I can say that, at each stage, we could able to validate and we could able to taste success. And I can still say that, things are not, 100% correct in our place also. There are issues. So again, what I'm saying is I would like to place it, all these initiatives, under the umbrella of people involvement, more and more people involvement. So now I'm thinking in the line that, many of our Unsafe Act and Unsafe Act are corrected through these kind of our initiatives like SMAT, technical SMATs, key points for safety, and EHS marshals doing it more and more technical SMATs. But still, why do we have the accident? So can we do something called as, beyond identifying the behavioral based safety, beyond giving an opportunity to do somebody an at-risk behavior, why can't we do some sort of foolproofing system? And that too with the help of digital safety. So I would like to explain how we can do this with the help of digital safety, some kind of foolproofing system. So I have two projects which I would like to showcase. Because of the paucity of the time, I would like to focus into some two improvements what we have done it. Now, this is quite common in all our workplaces that we all use FLTs, and of course, Saint-Gobain has got an FLT standard, which is talking about many things, many key points, checkpoints, and all those things. We have seat belt with ignition control and alarm system, blue spotlight, both the front and the back system, speed control system, then sensors, then 360-degree, panoramic view of mirrors and speed limit, biometric access. All those things are there, but still, we had a very bad accident in the year of 2021. Where a security personnel was trying to guide another truck, and the FLT was reversing, and it was not noticed, and it was a noisy area. The FLT driver could not recognize this person is there, and there was a fracture to the leg. So that has thrown that why can't we do this foolproofing system? So I think digital safety or artificial based human detection system we could able to implement at one of the forklift. So this was, in phase one, we tried to talk about, we have put sensors. Sensors to detect human being or anything for that matter. And there was a camera. With the help of artificial intelligence, camera will detect whether it is a human being or not. So based on that, we get the input. And second improvisation, what we have done is it was the single camera. What it has tried to detect the human being exactly. So it was the algorithm was made in such a way that it will detect the human being. And then our final version was that, two camera, so that, in the middle of the picture, you can see that we need to get the distance rules correct. And when the FLT is reversing and turning also, we don't want to miss at the back tire reverse tire, nobody should be getting missed at that point of time. It should be detected. So in that way, we corrected, and we have connected this with the braking system of the. It's not only detection. Detection was the first challenge. We have to distinguishedly detect the human being. That was the first challenge. After that, the input, what we are trying to do. Earlier, we tried to talk about, we have implemented 2 alarms at 2.5 meter one alarm, and 1 meter it's a hooter alarm. But we know that it was not enough. We need to do something foolproof. So we could able to, at last, we could able to do the stopping of the system. So I will try to play this video also. Yeah. So there are 2 advantages in this system. But while putting the camera and operating this particular system, one thing is that it detects human being, and before hitting the person, it stops. Second thing is that we can download the entire data, which are all the time the first alarm has come and second alarm has come, and invariably the machine has to stop. It will capture the people who were there at that particular place, their hand, their leg, or their body part, something like that. So with many of such photos, we can identify who is the person, and we can even counsel that particular person, show to him saying that you were there at the forbidden circle of the FLT, and then this is also another smart, and he will accept it with much more conviction, saying that it was this particular person, it was me who is at the line of fire, and because of which the FLT had to stop. If that FLT was not having the stopping mechanism, probably I was really at the line of fire and I could have met with some accident also. So that was another way of augmented SMART. Now another project what we have done is, this is also another very commonly used equipment, that is circular saw. So we have the primary risk controls in place, that is only trained and authorized person, and we have a face recognition system to operate this machine. Then we have clamp for fixing the plywood, eliminating the hand holding of the workpiece. Then proximity sensors are there, photo sensors and all those things are there. We have a tool developed, and we have proper guarding, dust collection system, everything. But still in 2019, we had an accident. So after that, this was also in our mind, that this particular machine, circular, so how we can do a foolproofing. So this was another key project what we have done it with foolproofing. It's a finger detection as well as stoppage of this machine. So I have a video here also. I will just try to play the video. So if his fingers are crossing that forbidden line, what we have virtually created, it is stopping. So this is the improvement what we have done it in circular. So of course, okay, after all these things, I believe that we need to track where are we now and then how we are decreasing. So I can say that in 2016, what were our lost time and non-lost time accidents, how it has gradually reduced. And I can say that, our lead indicators, TF4 is nothing but our near misses. And then TF5 is unsafe factor and unsafe condition. We have digital solutions for reporting all these things. So in the tracker and the closure and all can be, reporting as well as closure can be tracked. So I can say that there is a good amount of increase in reporting the near misses and unsafe factor and unsafe conditions. So in one way, your lag indicators are getting reduced. In another way, parallelly, you are trying to increase or improvise your lead indicators reporting because of people involvement. So again, I am saying this behavioral based safety system, it cannot be in silo. It should be under the umbrella of, total people involvement. And we have to shelter, many such tools, which is custom made for site and the company, and then try to develop, calibrate think and then try to make it foolproof and then protect the employees and prevent people from doing unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. And coming to recognitions, I'm glad that Nitish sir is there, and thank you, sir, for the department's encouragement. For 4 consecutive years, we received the Safety Award from Factories and Boilers Department, Government of Kerala. And this is our recent thing in our kitty. We received it in day before, on 27th only. At our company level, Paris level, our project of risk reduction through digital route has been awarded Safety Diamond. There were 26 applications shortlisted at the final jury at the Paris, and only 5 were awarded, and we were the first in that. And our team could able to all the digital improvements what we could able to do. We have been awarded for this risk reduction through digital route. Our safety behavioral based safety system, the SMART, it is digital, and then technical SMART and key points for safety. It is also digital. We can do it in the tab and then get it done. And also we try to make it as how we can do the foolproofing system with the help of digital safety systems. So this is another avenue of risk reduction. We are actively pursuing it. And of course, the behavioral based safety system continues, our journey continues. So this is from my part. Hope whatever it's a kind of experiments. Many times, we do certain kind of experiment and try to validate many things. Many of the things are developed in-house with our active participation of our teams. And I strongly believe that safety and progressing or EHS excellence is nothing but more and more people involvement and quite focused on how to engage the people in the shop floor safety activities. I am open to questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roy Thomas. Very short and sweet presentation on how the people involvement can make a significant difference in enhancing the safety of the factory. The floor is open. I would request participants to either post their queries in either chat box or unmute and pose a question directly. Yeah, over to the participants. If there is a difficulty in unmuting, kindly post the questions in the chat box. There is one question from Mr. Suresh Kumar, General Manager of Carborundum. How is the SMART ratio defined and what is the desired level for SMART? That's what I understand. Yeah.
Okay. So when you do a SMART or behavioral based safety audit, first thing what we talk about is you have to address the positive behavior. You have to capture the positive behavior. And then you have to capture the unsafe behavior or unsafe act. Along with that, unsafe condition also. So when in a company, when you implement this behavioral based safety audit and with proper training and all, you set the people out and schedule it and then do it. You will start identifying a lot of, initially, I can say that a lot of unsafe conditions. And we need to correct it, them saying that, okay, unsafe conditions you can actively report, but, try to identify more and more unsafe acts. So unsafe acts and unsafe condition put together, it will be more than what is the positive acts somebody is doing. Over a period of time, these positive acts need to improve. So if you have, 10 positive acts and upon which you have divided by 20 unsafe act and unsafe condition, the ratio is skewed. So over a period of time, when you identify that, your positive acts are more than the unsafe acts and unsafe conditions put together, that is one break-even point or breakthrough. What I can say that, you are in that right direction. See, I can say that there is no any kind of set limits or something like that. This should be the desired ratio or something like that. But you should see the trend over a period of time, over the years or month by month or half yearly, like that you can calculate. It should be progress, and you can fix it this particular ratio. Now 2021 I had a ratio of 1.5. So probably, or else I can say that it's below 1. I had my ratio as 0.8. So maybe I'll reach 0.95 in the year 2022. By 2023, ideally speaking, in 4 years time, or else close to 5 years time, you should be in a position to cross 1. And then after that, it should be it should be slow progress actually. But you should sustain at some level, maybe 2.53, like that. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. I believe the doubt is answered. Another question from Mr. Amit Katara. What to do if head of works is not wearing safety helmet at shop floor despite reminders?
Okay.
Very generic question.
No, I think safety is a top-driven approach. So top to bottom. So the top management commitment is very, very important. So I know company to company this vary, but I have some few good examples. When I was working in our Tirupati plant, silicon carbide manufacturing plant, our managing director, Mr. Anand Mahajan, he normally, from Bombay, when he comes in a normal shoe and all. And he was wearing, in our furnace plant, when you want to enter, you have to wear helmet, you have to wear your reflective heat resistant jacket, you have to wear your CO meter, personal CO meter, and then half face cartridge mask, safety goggles. He was doing all these things, but somehow at the office, before setting out for this plan too, people have not suggested, or he has not taken care to wear the safety shoe. So the furnace plant supervisor, you have to travel a little bit to come to the furnace plant from the main office. So after reaching there, the supervisor, he told that, sir, you are not wearing safety shoe. You are not allowed to enter in the plant without safety shoe. So the plant manager or other people, they got surprised, because he was, after all, it's a supervisor, and he was directly talking to the managing director saying that, this is not possible. Managing director, to everyone's surprise, he thanked that employee. He went back to the office. He changed his safety shoe, and he was very critical about, why it was not communicated at the office itself. So from there, we have started making the visitor safety communication very, very particular. Now I can say that in any Saint-Gobain entity, when you enter, the visitor safety communication as a video, it will be given at the gate. And top to bottom, who are all entering the plant, they are supposed to both, follow it. So what Mr. Anand Mahajan did is, from there, I think at least consecutively for 3 years, and whichever site he is going, he will tell that whenever he addresses any gathering, he will say that, in Tirupati, one of my employee, he is a worker and I am the managing director. He had the guts to stop me at the gate saying that, sir, you are not wearing the safety shoe. So that is the spirit. I appreciate that. That is the way the company should be growing. So in this way, he has tried to do this talking, which is, branding or talking or something like that. So it happens in many of the industries. And if it is not happening, I think as a safety officer or as a safety professional, you have got all the rights, or else you have got all the responsibility to do your little bit to sensitize the top manager about this particular requirement. And people are watching him, people are looking at him. Probably a small sensitization from your side will help, and even he can be changed, and he will follow it, and which will be beneficial for the entire safety journey.
Thank you. Another very similar question from Mr. Vimal Mishra. How to convince management to focus and invest on and investment for the safety?
Okay. So in my experience, there are 2-3 things what we follow. One is that, a thorough accident analysis and then incorporate where and all we are having that accidents, convert into significant risk. And then when you put a graph of significant risk, and you have one particular area, 5 significant risk, 4 significant risk. Okay, in my terminology, I call it as red risk. We have 3 categories of risk: red risk, orange risk, and green risk. Green risk is safe, and red risk is quite unsafe. And orange risk is something which is, it can go on either side. So these kind of red risks are nothing but accidents only, because the moment the safety controls are not in place or risk controls are getting deteriorated or not working at that point of time, it will sure for result into kind of an accident. So these red risk, we need to take some target about 5% reduction or something like that. So when you talk about, I'm focused on safety and my company is focused on safety, and you, for every company for that matter, not only for safety, for each and everything, there will be limited resources. So how you are channelizing these resources are very, very important. So if you really go to a person, a managing director saying that, I want to put the fall arrestor system for all the truck loading bays, and I have 5 truck loading bays, it is costing around 80-90 lakhs, please give me. No one will give you. So you have to put it in correct picture and correct perspective, saying that, this is what my number of red risk, and this is the prioritization. And these 5 red risk I want to mitigate in the year 2022 or 2023. And for this is what, by doing this, I can eliminate this particular accident, this particular thing, maybe a fatal accident, maybe a lost time accident. Someone will be breaking the leg and, in the hospital for about 30-40 days. And definitely, I think in today's world, managing directors or head of the institution capable enough to understand if a severe accident happens in one particular workshop, how and all it can hamper the kind of environment, productivity environment what they have. So in that way, I think from safety officer side also, we'll have to do some homework and then put it in the right perspective and get the funds and do it, validate it, and put CCTV cameras and be it under surveillance. And we have to show the results, and we have to really be on them and show our commitment that what the management has tried to invest it, and it is working very good and effectively for me, because of which no accidents are happening. And over a period of time, this kind of investment should be tapped in, channelized into safety efforts. And then you need to do a lot of innovation. Don't try to go for some very traditional thing what has been done. Nowadays, if I say that, digital things are innovative, so try to grab it. I try to look at, can I do something special in ergonomics? Can I have something, if a highly ergonomic risk activity some employee is doing, maybe an exo, belt or kind of something like that, can it give some triggers or alarm? Can I monitor it? And in that way, that is one perspective. So how we can fill in innovation in that? The third perspective, what I would like to say is that, there is very less advantage in investing in safety after a project, or else after once you have the system already in place. You should try to do something at the project stage itself before putting the system. Then only it will be very cost effective and you will get the right, solution at the place. For example, ergonomics is a good thing. Many times what happens after doing the machine, after doing the project, we try to say that the operator is not able to stand properly. The distance rules are not followed properly. The ladder, what it has been put, it is out of the ratio. All these things can be looked at the beginning of the project itself. So a management of change, you have a very good checklist and you look into different aspects and different possibilities at the project time itself and try to invest at the time of project itself. There will be good amount of advantage in terms of safety, and management will be convinced. And it always what happens, like, there will be difference of opinion after putting everything. then you are again asking money to correct some of the things which would have very much corrected at the time of project itself. So I think these are the kind of approaches which were helpful for me, which I can suggest can be followed. Hope I tried to answer your question. Sir, I think you are on mute. Nandakumar sir, you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Well explained, Roy. Quite interesting. We'll quickly take two more questions before we close. One question from Mr. Rajesh Kurula. AI for forklift safety improvement. Is it available as an add-on feature on existing forklifts? How expensive can this add-on be? Who are the suppliers for this facility?
Okay, at present this is an add-on. I don't think no any forklift supplier or vendor, direct OEM is providing this. It is possible. Now we have tried this system with one of the company called as Pearly Brook. They are based out of Cochin, and we have partnered with them and we have developed this solution for us. Earlier they were into some security systems and all. At the time of COVID situation, they came for some attendance system, face recognition and counting of the people and all. So at that time, the face recognition, people recognition, that was that was the input for us to develop into human detection cameras and then fit into forklifts and then taking signal to stop the forklift. So we have developed that system and they are supplying it for a price of around 85,000 per unit. That's what. Now in all the forklifts what we have, all the 25 forklifts and reach truck what we have in Palakkad, it's fitted with forklift, this AI camera system, and in Perundure also 15 forklifts are fitted with this system, and we have just cross deployed it in all the Sengob and other entities also, and some other companies are also copying it from us. So this is what about the system. You can ping me personally. I can share the details about that company and other things, or else I can share it with Nandakumar sir. You can share it across.
Thank you. Last question. Kindly explain the difference between unsafe practice and unsafe condition.
Okay. So, I'll take an example of a ladder, and the rung of that ladder is broken. It's an unsafe condition, and you know that this particular ladder has to be. You are not supposed to climb on that particular ladder, and then I train the people saying that you have to have a 3-point contact when you are climbing on the staircase or ladder or whatever it may be, and someone is not doing that. And if there is a rule that you are not supposed to talk on mobile while climbing upon the staircase and then descending or ascending the staircase, and somebody is by using the mobile, he is climbing and climbing up and climbing down. That's an unsafe act. So meaning unsafe condition is also sometimes what happens, like many of the, for example, I see a machine guard which is in detached condition. In my rule, my SOP says that all the machine guarding should be properly 360-degree covered and it should be fixed. So I'm seeing that the machine guard is not fixed and it is detached a little bit and the rotatory part is visible and accessible. So I will say that it's an unsafe condition. But ultimately, it's an unsafe act of someone else who has done it and then gone away. So there are some kind of interactions interface between unsafe acts and unsafe condition. But you can clearly distinguish a shop floor condition, which is unsafe, which is an unsafe condition, and a person who is not following the SOP willfully, or he knows that he's been trained and he's not following, he's doing a thing, deviation, it is an unsafe act.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. Very interesting, short and sweet presentation on BBS. My small takeaways is 2016, you started BBS in a formal way, maybe through WeCare programs, which were the enabler to zero accident. That was the objective. SMART as a program that you have launched to reinforce positive behavior in the people, coupled with capturing unsafe conditions, and thereby improve the morale of employees and start that zero accident. I also talked about doing SMART audits, close to 8,000 to 10,000 SMART audits,
somewhere along the line, you mentioned that the smart audit was not reflecting the real issues on the ground. So you decided that what was a real issue. So challenges faced, one of the challenges, as I understand, would be to why the smart audit was not reflecting the ground situation. It was basically people jumping into conclusions which pointed to lack of training. So from mere SMAT, you are graduated to a technical SMAT. Maybe key points of safety to be identified was defined through what to look for at people's behavior at workplace in the accident prone area specifically. And towards that, you started explaining that it is not by the senior people or not by an auditor or not by safety officer, but it should be peer-to-peer SMAT through people enablement. So identifying unsafe act using the support of co-workers, thereby helping us to identify the unsafe conditions and unsafe acts of the people as well. So another point that was told was assertive statements, that we speak only do's and not the don'ts to the people. And the interesting point of the presentation was the launching of the EHS Marshall Initiative, the white belt certification for the people. I think very nice benchmarking for us, the rest of the companies to look at. Maybe not a cut and paste initiative, would be something which we could all look at this good practice that is being done in the factory. And another interesting feature was the digital safety that you talked about, especially in forklift. If you look at the areas which are factories where forklifts are being used, a lot of accidents, as you explained in your factory, has happened. And definitely what has been done is brilliant innovation. I think out of box innovation to ensure a full proofing of safety while using forklift. Also, the digital safety initiative, the circulars made interesting. And thank you very much. The videos that you showed in both the cases, both for forklift as well as for circular, so helped us to understand what exactly you did. So very brilliant sharing of experience. Thank you very much, Mr. Roy. Looking forward to more active engagement with the HSE Forum and National Safety Council. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I also formally thank all the participants. Brilliant. More than 38 people have joined this program today, in spite of being month end. So it also talks about how all organizations look at safety very seriously and looking to learn from each other. So thank you all participants for being a part of this.
Thank you, sir. A perfect summary.
Thank you,
and thank you for the opportunity.
So we close this program formally. Thank you very much.